Hi, everybody. Welcome. Get my voice here. Welcome to Southern California. The show that everybody's talking about is called Start a Biz. You can hear it all over the country. You can listen online. We have literally thousands of people that listen on HometownsStation.com, HometownsStation.com. You can listen live or download the app on your app phone, on your smartphone, on your cell phone. And the app is KHTS. That's our flagship station, flagship station, KHTS 1220 AM. All right, so today's show's being filmed by, I think, Fox. Are you guys from Fox? Yeah, they're nodding their head, Fox. So Coaches on television and radio every day, and you can pick us up on YouTube. Our show is filmed by somebody every week, so you can go to YouTube, Start a Biz. All right, so what's our show about today? It's about change. Our second half of the show, my partner, Aaron Scott Young, is having lunch with his wife, so when he's done, he'll be on the air. But let me share this with you, that change is in the air. Big changes in the air. Changes in the air in sales and marketing and, as you well know, in our daily lives. So today, I'm going to introduce a tremendous book that I read last week. It's called Reframe the Marketplace, the total market approach to reaching the new majority. So if you're eating lunch at your desk and listening to the show, if you're driving around, you're not going to be able to take notes. No texting and driving. You know I say that every week. The author is Jeffrey Bowman. That's who the author is with Jeremy Katz. So let me welcome to Southern California, to sunny Southern California, where it's about 72 degrees today, Jeffrey. I know you're back east, and I really enjoyed your book. You know what came through in the book is your heart, your soul, and how much you care about the subject that you wrote. So congratulations. It's gonna be a bestseller, no question about it.
Really, really appreciate it. And unfortunately, I wish I was out there in the 70-plus degree weather calling in from New York.
Well, yesterday it was about 82, and the day before was 84. Let me read something. Let me read this paragraph out of your book, and then we can get right into it. Although, ladies and gentlemen, this is a paragraph on page 38. Although that's not an easy battle to fight. He's talking about marketing and advertising. Although it's not an easy battle to fight, the overwhelming market opportunity has made the stakes abundantly clear. A new general market is forcing change in the advertising world. We are in the midst of one of the largest shifts in population and purchasing behavior in our nation's history. It's time to adapt, and I believe what you wrote 100%. I'm going to hold the book up so our film crew can see the book here. Let's get a close-up of the book. So let's just start with that chapter. So the world population is changing. There's the book right there on YouTube. So let me hold it up again there, film crew. Nicely put. There you can see the book. So this is a book, if you own a small business, medium-sized business, any business, you want to get this book. It's called Reframe the Marketplace because, ladies and gentlemen, change is in the air. If you don't adapt, you're not going to make it. And I can't be more real or more serious. So share with us why you wrote that paragraph. What do you mean population shift?
So when we talk about the population shifting, it's the first time within American history when we formed as a nation that what was once considered the minority population will become the majority population. Some estimates predict that it'll be the year 2040, but in actuality, it's already here. All babies moving forward from last year until eternity will be minority-majority, meaning 51% of Blacks, Hispanics, and Asians. And when you look at 0 to 5, that's the dominant population set as we speak today. So it's not going to be the year 2040. So when you go 6 to 18, you're in the high 40s as it relates to minority-majority. When you go 19 to 29, or 19 to 24 from demographic breakdown, you're in the mid-40s. So when you think about marketing and advertising, typically the sweet spot that every major brand wants to pursue is 19 to 29. So it's here today, and it's not going away.
Well, I agree 100%. In California, the Hispanic population, and now I believe over 51%. And if I come back, I want to come back being Spanish and speaking Spanish. And it's a great culture, and I love the culture and I love the food. But you're spot on. So let's get into the book a little bit. So one of the things that really, and I took a lot of notes reading your book. One of the things that touched me, and I'm going to try to apply your book called Reframe the Marketplace, talking to Jeffrey Bowman, everybody, the author of Reframe the Marketplace, the total market approach to reaching a new majority. What touched me was that if I'm going to market anything, if I'm going to sell anything, and then my next question is, what's the difference between selling and marketing? But let me make the point here, that if we don't touch you emotionally, and that each cultural group, each minority group, however you want to refer to the population, if you don't touch them at where they live, they're not going to buy from you. They're not going to tell their family and friends. They're not going to come back and buy from you. Am I right or wrong on this, Jeffrey?
No, you're absolutely right, Coach. The thing that we like to say is that whenever you are preparing to market to a target audience, in this case, in most cases, most audiences that were targeted were the majority population. And because of that, one could say that if I've been going to market in the same way for the past, let's say, 15 to 20 years, I've got this new growth that's happening. I'm going to miss out on that growth. So your percentage of impact is maybe half versus 100% of impact. And so the idea of choosing not to be inclusive of these new majority demos as it relates to your product development, your experience as it relates to your store experience, do you have the right SKUs on your floor that, is relevant to this new audience? And then the last thing is, marketing to them with some type of authenticity. And that's the piece that oftentimes gets neglected when you are approaching this new majority.
Well, not only do you have the right SKUs, but it goes deeper than that when you read your book. We're talking to the author, Jeffrey Bowman, if you just tuned into the show. It's called Start a Biz here all over Southern California on our flagship station, KHTS 1220 AM. So honored to have this author because he's speaking to the heart of how we're going to drive our business forward in a positive way and make money. Look, if you're going to open up a business, you want to make a profit. But if you don't understand your customer, if you don't understand where your customer lives and how they buy, and if you don't understand how to touch them emotionally, good luck to you. I don't know how you're going to make a profit. So let me ask you, you said they better carry the right SKUs, but they also better have a language, their employees, their websites. Isn't there a lot of stuff that goes into marketing? So that goes to my question I was going to ask you a minute ago. What's the difference between selling a product and marketing a product?
So there's this principle that exists, or a framework within marketing, and mostly, a framework that most consultants use. But I think it's very applicable to your audience, like the small to medium-sized businesses. In the world of marketing, there's a discipline of what we call the marketing funnel. And within that funnel, you have awareness, meaning how many people do you reach based upon earned or paid media. And of the people that you reach, how many people that you actually get to consider. So, consideration obviously means that you saw an ad, you clicked, and then you landed on the site, or you saw a TV spot and you went and, you crossed the threshold of the store. Then you get into purchase or intent to purchase. And so when you ask the question of the difference between, the marketing and the sales piece, the marketing piece is at the top of the funnel. How many people can we make aware? How can we position the product so where they see a unique value proposition relative to the universe of products that are out there? The sales aspect of it, once you get them in store, whether it be a shopping cart online or whether in the store, they're browsing, how can you convert them? And that's the difference between the two. and all the different things associated with that.
All right. I got to stop here. We're talking to the author. The book is called Reframe, and if you own a business, this is a book you may want to give to a friend, you want to give to a family member. It's going to help them understand, especially for 2016, how to move forward and make a profit. It's called Reframe the Marketplace, the total market approach to reaching the new majority, and my wonderful guest is Jeffrey Bowman. So, the selling proposition, it's easy when you walk into an Apple store to understand what they're doing. It's easy for all of us to understand that if you have a more money in the bank than the United States government, it's easy for Apple to market. But, if you've got a smaller budget, come on, Jeffrey, if you've got a smaller budget, how do you get that unique selling proposition? How do you get that market out there? You can use radio. Television is very expensive for 99% of the population. Radio is fairly cost effective. Nobody reads newspapers anymore, and we're glutted with information and spam on the internet. In fact, I don't know if I believe half the stuff on the internet sites or stuff that I get. So help us all here in Southern California on KHTS Start a Biz Radio Show. Help us how we understand what you write in your book called Reframe the Marketplace.
So let's talk about that. If you look at most, and I've had the fortunate pleasure of being not only on the client side, but also starting my own company. And oftentimes what gets overlooked is, how much free research is available. Now, oftentimes the question becomes, well, I don't have a big research department. I'm time broke. I'm always in my shop if you're in retail. If you have time on a Sunday afternoon, there's this thing called the U.S. Census. It's the biggest database that exists in the world, been around since the 1800s. And just so happens it was developed based on ethnicity. Now, we didn't invent this, meaning the marketers, but that's a very, very powerful resource. And it allows you to break down, growth that's specific to ethnicity, not as the only factor as to how you target people, but pretty convincing factor, right? Because it's been around, it's reliable, etc. So, first of all, going to the U.S. Census database can tell you at a zip plus 4 level what is the makeup of your marketplace, right? So that's number one. If you have no other resource, that's the first thing you go to. And you can. It's a pretty comprehensive tool as well. The second thing you could do, there's this thing called SurveyMonkey, and whether you are a small and medium-sized business owner that's collecting email addresses or not, you should somehow be, collecting information about your most valuable purchaser, meaning people that are coming into your store, if it's a retail establishment, on a most frequent basis. And a lot of small to medium-sized businesses I've seen, they are collecting some type of information. So of the people that are coming in, form a focus group, give them an incentive or something to say, hey, Sundays are my days off, or Monday mornings early. Would you come in and let me ask you a few questions as to why you buy? And the third piece is that you're absolutely right as it relates to traditional marketing communications or markup. But I got to tell you, this is the best time to be in business because of this little universal platform called the Internet. And so what that allows you to do, if they have a son or daughter who's younger, who grew up, who's digitally native, then how is it that you begin to talk to people in a much relevant way based on your focus group and knowing who they are based on ethnicity primarily in the start? Then you begin to understand what is it that are the wants and needs of your best customers, which that's what you want to replicate for people that have never even been into your retail establishment, if that's what you do. So it's a kind of a long-winded answer, but the tools are there. It's democratized. The question is, are you asking the right questions? And are you being sincere and truly creating an experience for not only what was traditional, the majority population, but the new majority as well?
Well, I got to have you back. I mean, first of all, I should have given you a resume. You were the former senior partner and managing director, Ogilvy and Mather, one of the world's largest advertising and communication agencies in the world. And for guys like me, I know about Ogilvy and Mather, but you have so much to offer. I mean, you come from an intellectual point of view. The reason I wanted you to have on the show is because you also mix the heart and the mind. So you're not just spouting out stuff that most of us don't understand. You put your heart behind it, and that's why I'm going to have you back many times. But, when you look at your book, which is called Reframe the Marketing Place, it's easy to read. It's more challenged to understand the concepts because you're asking us to adapt. You're asking an older population like me who's been doing things the same way over and over, and we got to stop. I mean, it's just what you said. 2016, we're starting a whole new world out there in so many ways, and if the current business owner does not adapt or doesn't buy your book, good luck. Right?
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I mean, I really appreciate having me on. But
well, you got to come back. I'm going to have you back in January, Jeffrey. And good luck any way that I can help you, because everything that you talk about in your book, I understand as a business owner. And our cultural change in this country is not understood. That's a political comment I don't have time to get into. But, people buy from people they like first. People buy from people they understand. People buy from people who talk to them and hit them emotionally. And I think you just nailed it. You're spot on with your book. It's called Reframe the Marketplace. The wonderful author, Jeffrey Bowman. Check him out. Look him up. We'll be right back. My partner's done with lunch. Jeffrey, we'll see you in January.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, have a great day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here in Southern California, KHTS 1220 AM. We're going to come right back. We're going to get into a subject that you may not like. We're going to get into a subject that may hurt some feelings. Maybe a subject that right now is also politically sensitive. Come on back. The show is called Start a Biz. I'm your host, Coach Ron Tunick, and my partner, Aaron Scott Young. We'll be right back.